Good day and welcome to IT 314 Web Systems and Technologies. So for today's lesson, we will tackle about HTML. In this lesson, we will talk about what is the triple W, how does the triple W work, how does the browser fetch the pages, who is making the web standards, and we will also talk about what is all about HTML. But before we proceed with our discussion, let me share to you this quotation. So, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. Just like as our responsibility as your teachers. So we are here to guide you, to teach you everything about this course, and to be able to guide you that you can create web pages or a website later on that you can use for your capstone project and as well as for your future employment or future job. So in that case, you will be able to make it on your own. So moving forward, so the web has been around for more than 25 years now, experiencing euphoric early expansion, an economic-driven bust, an innovation-driven rebirth, and constant evolution along the way. One thing is certain, the web as a communication and commercial medium is here to stay, especially during this pandemic. So we were able to experience how important the web as a communication and commercial medium. So not only that, it has found its way onto devices such as smartphones, the tablets, the TVs, and more. So there have never been more opportunities to put web design know how to use. So IT applications are increasingly web-based. So in this lesson, it will cover the essential web technologies and as well as the things that we will be using that may equip you with the useful skills to build websites for web-based IT application. So let's start with knowing what is triple W. So triple W, guys, stands for World Wide Web, and it is also called as the web. So the web is a network of computers all over the world. So just like if you can imagine a spider web, so that is also how the different computers or the different networks from different parts of the world are being connected. So all the computers in the web can communicate with each other. So we can send, for example, different learning materials to our classmates or to you as our students, even if we have different locations. So we also use the HTTP, and that stands for, or that serves as our communication standard. Here we have how does the triple W work. So information is stored in documents called web pages. So that is what we see in our web browsers. So web pages are files stored on computers called web servers. So when the computers reading the web pages are called web clients. So the devices that we are using are termed as web clients. These web clients view the pages with a program called a web browser. So web browser could be Google Chrome, Firefox, Mozilla, Internet Explorer, Safari, and the likes. Popular browsers are here, so as I have mentioned. So how does the browser fetch the pages? So this is how it works. A browser fetches a web page from a server by a request. And that request is a standard HTTP request containing a page address, which is like this one. So we have here http://www.webpage.com page.htm. So that means once we write the page address on our web browser, we are actually requesting to view a specific page. Okay, so all web pages contain instructions on how to be displayed. The browser displays the page by reading this instruction. So whatever instructions are included there, yun lang din yung magdi-display over our web browser. For example, it wants to or it is instructed to have an image or a welcome message for all the viewers or the users. The most common display instructions are called HTML tags. The HTML tag for a paragraph looks like this. So we have our brackets, and then inside it is our tag, which is P. P stands for paragraph. So that means that anything between the start tag and end tag of P tag will be displayed as a paragraph on our web browser, which later on we'll see how it works. And in terms of the web standards that we are currently using, so the web standards are not made by Google or Microsoft. So they were not the one who created or giving it, but rather the rule-making body of the web is the W3C. W3C stands for the World Wide Web Consortium. So it puts together specifications for web standards. The most essential web standards are HTML, CSS, and XML. So right here we have our HTML. So let's get to know what is all about HTML. So HTML is a language for describing web pages. So it will be used to describe, to instruct how it will look or how will it be viewed by the users. So HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. So guys, HTML is not a programming language. It is a markup language. Please take note of that. It is not a programming language, but rather a markup language. So when we say markup language, it is a set of markup tags. So the purpose of the tags are to describe page content. So just like what I've mentioned earlier, we can make the text on their specific text font or color, or we can include images on our web pages. So that would depend on how we set it or how we put markup tags or HTML tags. Moving on, HTML markup tags are usually called HTML tags. So they are the same. HTML markup tags and HTML tags. So HTML tags are the basic units or building blocks of an HTML file. So these tags are keywords or can also be called as tag names surrounded by angle brackets. Just like this one, we have here our HTML tag. So as you can notice, there are two angle brackets in between or before and after the tag. So HTML tags normally come in pairs like this one. So we have B tags. So that means anything inside this start tag and end tag will be displayed in bold. So later on, we'll know more about the different tags that we can use. So the first tag in a pair is the start tag, and the second tag is the end tag. You can also call start tag as opening tag and closing tag. So they are the same. So the end tag is written like the start tag with a forward slash before the tag name. So do not forget that. So the only difference between the start tag and end tag is the slash for our end tag. So when a web browser displays a page, it reads from a plain text file and looks for special codes or the tags that are marked by the angle bracket signs. The general format for an HTML tag is like this. So we have, again, our tag name surrounded by our angle brackets. And then we have our string of text or the text that we want to provide format. And do not forget our end tag. So for our end tag, it should have a slash before the tag name. Do not forget that, guys. Okay. So a web browser does not care if you use upper or lower case. So that means it is not case sensitive. So it is upon your decision what you would like to use. So your browser has a small but open vocabulary. An interesting aspect of HTML is that if the browser does not know what to do with a given tag, it will just ignore it. So that means, for example, you forgot the forward slash at the end tag or before the tag name on the end tag. So it will not ruin the whole web page, but rather it will not just display or you will not just see what you intend to see for that specific web page. Okay, so these are some of the basic HTML tags that we can start with. So we have the tag for paragraph, the line break, which is displayed or used by BR tags, horizontal rule, so that would display a horizontal rule, especially when we are anchoring or we are sectioning the different parts of the web page. So we can use that horizontal rule. We have heading 1. So actually, so there are different headings. So that is heading 1 to 6. So they differ from sizes. And then we have the ordered list. So in ordered list, we'll be using numbers, we'll be using Roman numerals, and as well as letters. And then we also have an ordered list with the use of the UL tags. So in terms of an ordered list, we'll be dealing with bullets, circles, and squares. So definition list, on the other hand, is used with DL tag. So when we say definition list, we'll be providing a term, and then underneath it is its definition that you would like to include. And then we can also modify the font by using the font color tag. And then succeeding to it will be the values that you'd like to use. Then we also have the bold, italics, and underline. So anything in between those tags will become bold, italicized, or underline. And then we can also use the image tag. So in using the image tag, we will be using also the SRC or the source attribute, wherein the value of that attribute will be the file name or the file location of the image that you want to include in your web page. So we also have links or the HTML links using the A tags. The table, so that means we can include tables in our web pages. And when using table tags, so that would also include the use of table row and table data. So table data serves as the columns. If you will remember, the tables that we have in our Google Sheets or our Microsoft Excel. So we have their rows and columns. So the columns are the table data in this term. Okay, moving on with the HTML elements. So tags and elements are often used to describe the same thing, but strictly speaking, an HTML element is everything between the start tag and the end tag, including the tag. So that means that P tag, the start tag, and end tag, including this example, this is a paragraph, is called an HTML element. Okay, so this is one of the important part of this lesson. So we'll have to open up your workspace. So in creating an HTML document, first thing and foremost that we need is an HTML editor. So it is a software application for creating web pages. Since HTML documents use plain text, any text editing program can be used to create web pages. So that means, guys, that your simple notepad on our computers can be used to create an HTML page or a web page. And you can also use other software or text editing program or software if you'd like. Next one, you can start creating an HTML document with the use of a text editor, HTML editor, or word processing program. So that means even our Microsoft Word or Google Docs can be used to create HTML document. So after creating your codes, you can save your HTML document so that you can view or work on it later. So this is the step-by-step procedure on how you can save. So we have the menu bar, click File and Save or Save As. So once the Save As dialog box appears on our screen, so you'll have to key in or you'll have to type the file name. And do not forget, when saving your HTML document, always change the file type to all types and use the .htm or .html file extension. So do not forget that to use the file extension .html and .htm. And then after that, click Save. Or if you have the shortcut, Control S, and then the dialog Save As dialog box will appear. So same thing or same procedure will be applied. Okay, so you can now view your HTML document on your web browser. So that means you'll be using your web browser. So any web browser will do. If you have Google Chrome, Firefox, or the others, so pwedeng you utilize it. So you'll just have to launch any web browser. On the menu bar, click File and click Open File. On the Open dialog box, click Browse. Look for the folder or drive where your HTML file was saved and click the file. Click Open, and on the Open dialog box, click OK. Or you can just click on your HTML document and then click again, right click, and then open with. Look for the option open with and then click on any browser that is available on your devices. Then after that, you can view your HTML page. Okay, moving on. So the first thing that we need is the text editor. You also know now how to save an HTML document, and we also need a web browser for us to view our HTML page that we are working on with. And then here we have our HTML page structure. So this is a visualization of an HTML page structure. So we have the doc type HTML, and then our HTML tag. Inside it, we have the head, including the title tag. We also have the body, and do not forget, guys, the end tags or the closing tags for each. So it should always come in pair. So we also use here heading 1 and the paragraph tags. So let's discuss each. So the HTML doc type tag, so there entails that there are many different documents on the web. A web browser can only display a document correctly if it knows what kind of document it is. So that means this tag informs what kind of document is being displayed. And then we also have here the head element. So the head element is a container for all the head elements. Elements inside can include scripts, instruct the browser where to find the style sheets, and provide meta information and more. On the other hand, we also use the title element. So the title tag defines the title of the document. It also defines a title in the browser toolbar. It also provides a title for the page when it is added to favorites, or we mark that page as on our bookmarks. So whatever title has been set for that specific page, so that would be displayed on our bookmarks or favorites. And then lastly, it displays a title for the page in search engine results. So that's why the title tag is very important. Moving on, we also can use HTML headings. So HTML headings are defined with the H1 to H6 tag. So as you can see in our example here, we use heading 1, heading 2, heading 3. And as you can see on the results, so visually, so they differ in the size. Headings are important. We use HTML headings for headings only. So that means you cannot use headings just to make your text bigger. Don't use don't use headings to make text big or bold. The search engines use, so this is very important. Search engines use your headings to index the structure and content of your web page. Since users may skim your pages by its headings, it is important to use headings to show the document structure. So for example, your web page or your HTML page is about HTML. What is HTML? So you can use that as a heading. Heading 1 or H1 heading should be used as main headings. So that means that they do not only differ visually, but also in how they are used, the H1 to H6. So H1 heading should be used as main headings, followed by H2 headings. Then the less important will be H3 to H6. So do not forget that. And then moving on, we have here our HTML paragraphs. So paragraphs are defined with the tag or with the use of P tags. So as you can see, we have here the start tag and end tag for our paragraph. And once we open it using our browser, so this is how it will be displayed. So again, guys, the tags will not be visible on our browser once we open our HTML page, but rather what is inside those start tag and end tags only. Okay. So the HR tag, on the other hand, creates a horizontal line in an HTML page. So if you would like to section or to provide sections for the contents of your HTML page, so you can use the horizontal line or HR tag. So the HR element can be used to separate content. So primarily, that is its purpose. So as you can see here, we have 3 paragraphs and we use the horizontal rule line to separate or to provide sections for each paragraph or for each content. So once we open this on our web browser, so this is how it's going to look like. And then we can also add links to our HTML page using the link tags. So a hyperlink or link is a word or group of words or image that you can click on to jump to a new document or a new section within the current document. So when you move the cursor over a link in a web page, the arrow will turn into a little hint. Links are specified in HTML using the A tag. So just like in our example, so we have the star tag, A, and then as you can notice, we use the href tag. So that attribute, or the value of that attribute should be the URL or the location wherein you want to send the user. So that means once the user click that link, so where will it go? And then what the users can see is the text, link text. You can also use image for that if you'd like to. And then do not forget the end tag. So this is how it looks. So we have, for example, a href, and then the value is the URL www.webpage.com. So that means when the user click on the link, this is a link, so it will be transferred, or the user can view what is the content of that page or the www.webpage.com. And then I know you have used different links. So once the link, or if the link hasn't been used, so usually it is colored blue, and then once visited or once clicked, it becomes purple. But you can also set the colors of those the color of those links once visited, or if it hasn't been visited yet. So that would depend on your choice as the designer. Okay, so the note here says the link address is specified in the href attribute, as I have mentioned earlier. Okay, moving on with HTML images. So again, you can include images for your web page. So in HTML, images are defined with the img tag. So the img tag is empty. So when we say a tag is empty, it contains attributes only and has no closing tag. So there is no such thing as slash or forward slash img. So to display an image on a page, you need to use the src or the source attribute. The value of the src attribute is the URL of the image that you want to display on your HTML page. So as you can see here, we have the syntax for defining an image. So we have img tag, and then the source attribute, followed by the value or the URL of the image, and then we have the alt. So alt is stands for alternate or alternative text. So that means if the browser were not able to locate the image or the image that you want to display, so this alternative text will be displayed. Okay, so for example, so we have here an example wherein we use the img tag. So we have again the img tag followed by the attribute src, and then we only use here the file name, so you can do it. So we can also set the width and the height of the image, because if you will not do this, so it will just inherit what size the browser can provide for it. So much as possible, please make it to a habit that you set the size of the image so that it will be displayed depending on how you want it to see, or how big or how small you want it to see on your HTML page. And then we also can use comments in HTML. So comments can be inserted into the HTML code to make it more readable and understandable. Comments are ignored by the browser and not displayed. So it is one of the good practice that you can inherit, that you can provide comments. So especially when you will be creating your own web pages, for example, you'll be using it for your project or for your capstone project. So it will be much easier for you and your teammates to read and understand the codes that you have inserted for your web page. And as said, it is ignored. So that means it will not have an effect for the functionality of the web page itself. So this general syntax in writing comments in your HTML document is this one. So anything inside this will be displayed on your HTML document, but will not be displayed on the web browser. So that is for the designer's purpose only, or benefit. And then we also have here the HTML text formatting. So it uses tags like B and I for formatting output like bold or italic. So we have here bold and strong. So it will make the text boldface, big, I or italic. It's the same with EM tags. Sub for subscript and sup for superscript. Strike and underline. HTML tips. So how to view HTML source. For example, you got interested with an HTML page and you want to know how was it constructed, and you want to see the HTML source. So this is how you're going to do that. To find out, right click in the page, select view source, so that is for IE or Internet Explorer, or view page source for Firefox, or similar for other browsers. So this will open a window containing the HTML code of the page. So later on, let's try to do that. Okay, and that ends our discussion for HTML. So we have provided activities that we can work on during our class. So we will be sharing it for you to try with our guidance. Okay, so for now, thank you, and let's move on with the activities.